Welcome back to Hockey Talks. I'm Carl. That is Dave. Brand new year. Back half of the season. Things are starting to fire up here in the NHL. World Juniors are just coming to a close. As USA takes back-to-back titles on another World Junior Championship.
Yeah, Canada really crapped the bed on that one.
Yeah. Canada.
Oh my.
Second year in a row getting beat out in the quarterfinals by Czechia. Once again.
Is it Czechia or Czechia?
Czechia.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
it's pronounced. It's not Czech Republic anymore. They made that clear. They want it to be called Czechia, so everybody calls them Czechia now. But once again,
I'll check you later.
There you go. First joke of the round.
Yeah. Canada, though, they got so many penalties, they couldn't stay out of the box. Mm-hmm. And even the coach was saying, we have it under control. Our guys are not going to get penalties this game. Yeah. That didn't happen. So that's pretty disappointing. Good to see USA take it, though. I'm sure their fans are very, very happy in overtime period.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a thrilling game against Finland. Finland had a very strong team this year. Right? Yeah. They played some really good hockey.
So did Latvia.
So, actually did really well.
Yeah, they did better than you'd expect.
They're becoming a pretty, I should say a decent team, right?
Yeah.
They're definitely making sure they stay in here. They're not entering the relegation rounds anymore. They're getting some wins. They're getting goals. Like, things are looking good for the Latvian team right now.
It's kind of like...
Made it to the quarterfinals 2 years in a row now.
It's kind of like if you skip a rock that's not very flat, you expect it to sink to the bottom, right? But it kind of pops up a couple times. You're like, oh, that's cool.
Just got to find their edge.
That's Latvia.
Got to find their edge and they'll be smooth sailing.
Exactly.
As soon as they do find
They're
it.
smoothing that rock.
Yeah. But that was another disappointing year for Team Canada. There were talks about some big changes coming to the organization.
Is that really the best we have to offer, though? You got to think, is that what our hockey is turning into? Let's just go out there and get penalties and,
Yeah, it's not good hockey.
That's ridiculous.
Very undisciplined, right?
Yeah.
It didn't matter what. It's what did you say, 3 minutes into the game?
Yeah, 3 to 5 or something.
All of a sudden a penalty already.
Yeah.
And that was consistent. Throughout this whole tournament, immediately, penalty after penalty after penalty. They just kept shooting themselves in the foot. And once again, in the quarterfinals, they fall to Czechia. Now, Czechia is a really good team as it is, right? Czechia's a good team, but, Canada didn't even give himself a chance to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you take so many penalties like that all in a row, you're playing shorthanded for a majority of the game. And
you can't give the other team your PP and expect to win.
No.
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work. You can't expect to score shorthanded all the time.
Yeah.
Right? And rely on your defensive game, which, it was okay, right? It was all right for most of it, but they play a majority of the game just defending on their own end. Mm-hmm. And that is not going to win you games.
No.
Not even close. So there's a lot of work. They're going to try to look at some organization, maybe getting a permanent management squad to focus on that throughout the year, right? For Team Canada, all of Team Canada, right? Because they don't really have anybody just set to work on that kind of stuff all year, right? So get some right personnel in there and find permanent people to help build this franchise back up to where it was before. But Team USA, they're looking like a very, very strong team, right? They had a slow start, lost a couple of games where they looked like they just didn't show up.
Yeah.
A couple of times. You think, okay, well, maybe they've taken a step back from last year, but no, they turned it on and they're still just as good, maybe not even better than they were the previous year. They played strong hockey throughout, and the USA team is looking like a very strong team for the next few years, especially, right? They got a good thing going, good group of core, a lot of young players that probably will return next year for that team. So things are looking up for Team USA for the World Juniors for next year in 2026. Things that aren't looking up, which we be looking at the Vancouver Canucks.
Vancouver Canucks.
My Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
They're still
What about him?
Talks about JT Miller and Elias Pettersson, which now I've gotten word that they're looking to maybe potentially entertaining the thought of trading both JT Miller and Elias Pettersson. Whether they're going to trade both,
You think it's a good idea? Trade both of them?
No, I don't.
No?
I don't think it's good. I would say,
Which one would you get rid of?
Just based on who helps the team more, I think JT Miller.
Get rid of him?
No.
Oh,
I think they need
get
to
rid
stay.
of Pettersson?
We need to, if they needed to get rid of one guy, I might say Pettersson. You could probably still get it.
He's the baby between the two anyways, let's be honest.
He is,
He cries.
And his game hasn't been there, right?
Yeah.
JT Miller's still pretty consistent, right? He's a hard guy to play against. And
He's a grinder.
He's physical. He gets down into the dirty zones of the net, right? Scores some dirty goals. That's the kind of guy you need on your team. He's a good leader. Pettersson is quite the opposite, right? He has his area. He's a very good scorer, shooter when he can be, when he wants to be, but you don't see that very much from him anymore, right?
Yeah.
And maybe it has something to do with between him and Miller. Who knows? But you're not seeing that Elias Pettersson that you had a few years ago. He's just taken a couple of steps back, I think, from where he was when we first drafted him. So whether we go from that, where they go from that, I'm not too sure. I think they probably have to get rid of one of them. But I think if it was my choice, I think it would be Pettersson.
Yeah. Well, that would make the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just feel like they love each other, and that's really what they're, where they lie. And so sometimes if it impacts the rest of the team, you just got to get rid of them both. So maybe that's where they lie. I'm not sure who they would kind of free up that space for, though. Like, who would they bring aboard? Has there been any trade offers for either one of them officially yet?
Well, the Rangers actually sent a trade offer to them for JT Miller and trying to trade him because Zibanejad for JT Miller, but the Canucks have rejected that offer. So that won't be happening.
Yeah.
Which I think personally,
it's a good idea.
Canucks fan, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like Miller, like I said, Miller's one guy you don't want to get rid of. He's been a clutch guy for your team and probably in that dressing room as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to fire everybody up, right? Fire the team up. He's a good guy to keep. Zibanejad's really, really good hockey player, right? Scores a lot of goals, gets a lot of points. He's always around the net. It'd be great if a one-on-one trade, maybe for Pettersson.
That would be good.
Pettersson, I would be okay with that.
But they won't take that.
I don't think they'd get that. No, I don't think so either. Especially with the way Pettersson's playing right now. I mean, I think maybe a fresh start for Pettersson on a new team might spark him back up to where he was previously.
After the initial heartbreak, yes.
Yeah, you have to. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was a good call that the Canucks rejected that trade. As I don't think they needed to make that trade right now.
Yeah.
They're still in a wild card spot. They're still there.
10 overtime losses.
10 overtime losses. That's pretty incredible in 40 games played. So,
it's actually 12 losses and 10 overtime losses for them right now, which means that just under half, like 45% or whatever that would be, of their losses are in overtime.
Yeah. So they're getting that extra point, but...
That's a way of putting it. That's a positive spin.
They're getting the extra point, but that's not going to be enough.
How many points are they losing, though, by letting the game get pushed into overtime?
Yeah, well, exactly, right? So it's they're losing a lot of points.
But do they have Demko back still? Is he
Demko's back, yeah.
Is he sharp?
He's getting better.
Yeah.
He's starting to become more Demko. I don't think he's 100% yet.
Yeah, okay.
I really don't think he's 100% back to healthy yet, right? But they've got two good goaltenders. The backup is also, Lankinen is also playing really well. So goaltending, I don't think is an issue for them. It's just, they collapse. They collapse in the end of a game. They play really good, and then they collapse in the last
little bit,
10 minutes at least, and that's how they get into all their overtime situations, and then they lose in overtime. But so they got to figure out how to finish games, right? And maybe trading one of these guys will spark it, and get somebody in there that's going to help them do that, maybe. But right now, I don't think it's in the books for them to trade either one of them.
Yeah.
Not at the moment. Maybe by the trade deadline, but for the right one, right? They have to make sure it's right. And this trade obviously wasn't correct for them. So.
Well, yeah, wait it out. And,
Yep.
you know, as important as forwards are for your team and making the right judgment call as to who's going to stay and who's going to go, goaltender is also a big important area of that. And there's actually kind of a new record that was made. So amongst the other records that everybody's kind of watching for, including Ovechkin's Gretzky goal record of 894, I believe. I think he's 22 goals away. But there was also another one made where Gretzky set the record. He beat Bergeron for most faceoff wins. And now there was one just made by a goaltender of the league. He got entered into third place for quickest goaltender to 300 wins. How many games played to 300 wins? And so there's a top 5. And I'm going to ask you if you can name maybe a couple on that top 5. And bonus points if you can get the person who just reached third place.
Okay.
Just barely. Yeah.
Just reached third place to get 300 wins?
300 wins. How many games to 300 wins?
Oh, you want me to list how many games?
Or just the top 5.
Or just the top 5. Okay, well, was it Connor Hellebuyck
It was.
to get 300 wins?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did it in 538 games.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
And so he's third. Do you know who maybe number 1 is?
Oh, Martin Brodeur.
No.
Oh,
That surprised me, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
Number 1 is Vasilevsky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And
That
490.
an active goalie. Are these all active goalies? Or just
I don't
like
think
here's
so.
the player?
The next one's Jacques Plante.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is he
From
active?
Montreal. No.
Yeah, no, I didn't think so.
I think he used
I
to
don't
play
know
for
who that
Montreal Canadiens. The Jacques Plante.
Okay.
Or whatever. He used to play for Montreal Canadiens, a goaltender back in, I want to say, probably maybe 60s,
Oh, yeah.
50s.
Black and white TV back then.
Yeah, it's a while ago. I think.
I think was it color TV in the 60s?
Yeah, I think there was.
Was
a
it?
little bit, maybe.
I wonder when that started. So can you name number 4? Number 4 is, I believe, an active goalie. And if not, it was only recent. Yeah.
Let's see. Henrik Lundqvist.
Bob
Bobrovsky?
Bobrovsky.
Bobrovsky, he's still an active goalie for the
Yes.
Florida Panthers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
He did it in 541 games, which is only three more than Hellebuyck himself.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 5th one, if anybody's curious, Andy Moog.
Andy Moog. Okay. Goaltender for the Islanders.
Oh yeah. So he did it in 543. So yeah, it's interesting to see as much of these records being broken by forwards and all that. Goaltenders are still a thing. They're still part of the game. They still have records they're going for too.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's always interesting to see active goaltenders breaking something like that.
Yeah.
You know, 300 wins, 543 games.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I'm actually surprised that Martin Brodeur is not on that list.
Yeah.
I'm pretty surprised.
Part of me wonders what exactly is going on there, because I know he has what was it, the most all-time wins?
All-time wins, yeah. He has the most all-time wins, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of
But I guess the quickest, right?
yeah.
To that 300, so.
Maybe he started out a bit rougher.
Yeah.
I remember the last time he made a charge in the playoffs, he was like vintage Brodeur. They made it all the way to the finals, I believe. I have no idea what year that was, though. But he was playing solid goaltender. I think he was 37 or 36 or something.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was the most recent one, like 10 years ago, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Remember that?
Back in probably 2010? No.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But, yeah. Yeah, I think that was pretty much his last year, right?
Yeah, that was his last year.
His last year, yeah. Okay.
And speaking of Jersey, like they're in a playoff spot right now. They're playing pretty solid.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, anyways. So it's good to see.
Marchand is playing really well now.
Yeah.
He's firing up big time, right? Yeah, they're playing really, really good hockey under Sheldon Keefe, right? Old ex-Leafs head coach.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Eliminated round 1. You watch.
Oh, wouldn't that be something, eh?
It'll be something.
Sheldon Keefe.
It'll be something when it happens.
Yeah. Speaking of playoff wild card spots, well, not even just wild card spots. There's a really tight race in the East right now. Nothing involving New Jersey or Toronto.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Nothing involving them.
Ottawa's out now.
Ottawa's not there.
Yeah.
They're just below it, right?
Yeah.
They're tied with Montreal. Right now, in the 2 wildcard spots in the East are Boston Bruins. Could you believe? Not all of us are Boston Bruins fans here. But they have dropped 6 straight. There's something going on in Boston, right? There's something going on. And a lot of turmoil around, like radio hosts talking about how Brad Marchand and David Pastrnak are fighting all the time and stuff like that. And he's saying absolutely not. That's all complete BS. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now with the Boston Bruins. Dropping 6 straight, they are falling apart. Their season is slowly diminishing.
Do you think maybe they just need to run more goaltenders? Would that help?
Yeah, like the other. Oh, what's the other? Yeah,
yeah.
What's the other night? Wasn't it?
They ran Skinner.
Stuart Skinner. Yeah.
Which I think is a blessing in disguise. Let's be honest.
Zadorov,
right?
Nikita Zadorov.
Zadorov.
Yeah, the next Canucks guy of one season. He was good. I wish he would have stayed on Canucks. But, anyways, yeah.
That's what they need to do, though. That'll fix them. Oh, that Marchand needs to lick more faces, I think.
Yeah,
he hasn't quite gotten his amount of licks in this year.
No.
There's actually a separate statistic for that. Goals, assists, licks.
Licks. Yeah, he ranks top on the charts for that, I think.
Yeah. He's a -1 for that one.
A -1 for that. Yeah, no, something's happening in Boston. They're not looking so good. Soon to be out of a wild card spot if they don't start doing something here. Because the guys are behind him on a couple points. Well, there's the second wild card spot, which is the Columbus Blue Jackets.
But they're on a winning streak, though. They're on a 3-game winning streak, which got them in that place. But so good for them.
They projected Columbus not to be even close this year, right? At the bottom of the standings. But, man, yeah, it's they've been playing some really good hockey now, too.
And even speaking of the bottom of the standings, not to change the top, but Detroit, I think, is on a 5 or 6 game winning streak.
Yeah, they've changed.
So, like,
around,
what?
Right?
Yeah.
Well, they fired their head coach, right, Derek Lalonde, right, and replaced him with Todd McClellan, which, yeah, ever since then, it kind of sparks something. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it did.
Yeah.
And they're playing some really good hockey now. All of a sudden, Patrick Kane has come alive.
Yeah.
He looks like his old self. It's it's going to be a really tight race in the East, right? You have Ottawa and Montreal.
Yeah. Who are performers.
Who are tied right now, and 1 point. I thought it was 2 points back of Columbus.
I think it's 1 or 2. I think in there is Pittsburgh as well.
Pittsburgh's also tied there too. So it's like a 4 or 5 teams, maybe even 6 teams that are all fighting for that wild card spot. And Boston could be out of a wild card spot and miss the playoffs. They have that chance now.
Yeah.
And which is incredible for them finishing the season winning first overall in the NHL last year. And to fall out of a wild card.
There's still a chance. Yeah.
Well, I don't think they're going to.
It's a long way to go. That's for sure.
Still back half of the season. Still a lot of games to play, but it's going to be a very, very fun time watching this Eastern Conference race. The Western Conference, too, it's pretty tight as well, right? But it's not going to be as entertaining as the East here, I don't think.
But something weird about that one, I noticed Colorado is actually in a wild card spot.
Colorado.
Colorado is, and you have people like McKinnon who has 68 points.
Yeah, that's
incredible. In 42 games or something? Yeah. 41, 42 games?
That is incredible.
Absolutely insane. Then you have other contenders like let's use Matthews for an example, right? Matthews has been on and off injury, just over 30 games, I think, this year. He's got maybe just over the amount of games for points, right? Like 16 goals, 17 assists. But then you have that San Jose rookie who's like on pace with him. Yeah. Even though he has more points, more games played, he's actually averaging, I think right now, more points per game than one, which is phenomenal, in my opinion, for a rookie at minus 15 or whatever he is on San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, on San Jose Sharks, exactly.
It's crazy.
Right? Like San Jose Sharks were not even close to competition with any other team last year, right? And they didn't expect him to be this year either. They're close to the bottom. They're not last.
But to still have a player on your team that's performing like that,
he's a
phenomenal,
special kind of player, man.
Yeah,
You don't see too many guys like that, right? And
Yeah.
he's just having a blast doing it.
Oh, yeah. for
Living
sure.
with Joe Thornton.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, playing hockey in San Jose, playing really, really well, right? Having your buddy Will Smith right beside you that you grew up with, playing together on the same
Not
team.
the slapper.
Not Will Smith, the
slapper
that he calls him. But the hockey player Will Smith, the rookie, the draft pick, first overall draft pick,
Sir William.
2023. But yes, anyways, he's playing some fantastic hockey, and even though San Jose Sharks are still not a great team, Macklin Celebrini makes them all that better, and he's still putting up points. So
watch out for next year.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say.
Yeah,
they're gonna have a team next year.
I think they're gonna have a team coming up here right away, right?
Yeah,
I think they're gonna have a team competing for a wild card spot next year.
Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah, but that is all the time we have for tonight. Thanks again for joining us in this brand new year of 2025.
Happy New Year.
Half of the NHL season, and we look forward to talking to you next time. Thanks again, and have a wonderful evening.
Later.